his fleet of gifted receivers. But this year, the Oilers have unveiled a new weapon, one that all championship teams must possess. In the AFC Central, on the verge of winning their division for the first time since the AFL-NFL merger. Cleveland tonight could get a step closer to 500 and even take second place in its division. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. Coming off the worst season in its franchise history, the Cleveland Browns turned to Bill Belichick to reverse their fortunes, and the good signs are already there. Joe Theismann, he brought with him a tireless work ethic and the attitude that whatever it takes to do to win, will do.
He really has, Mike, and what he decided to do was go back to the basics. When you've got 26 new faces on your team, you have to go back to the basics. So what do? You say, listen, we don't want to turn the ball over. So they've given up the fewest turnovers in the National Football League. You want your quarterback to be good. You don't want him to throw interceptions. Bernie Kosar's only thrown one, and he's second ranked in the NFL. But Billy Belichick was brought to the Cleveland Browns because of his defensive prowess. So what does he do tonight against the Houston Oilers? His greatest challenge? He tells his ball club to be physical. Make those little guys pay if they're going to catch the football. And secondly, I want you to go out and get turnovers, because that's the only way we're going to beat them.
Because of their defensive improvement, the Houston Oilers have now become a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They have a front four that's the equal of anyone's. They have linebackers and defensive backs that are creating turnovers. In spite of the run and shoot, this has become the big play unit on the club.
And it really has to, because on offense, defenses have not allowed them to get big plays. Take last week, for example, against the Dallas Cowboys. Warren Moon completes 41 of 56 passes, over 400 yards of offense, no touchdowns. Only 2 touchdown passes all year of over 50 yards. And after talking to Warren, he said, you know, Joe, I'm feeling like a nickel and dime quarterback. And that's exactly what he's going to have to do tonight against this Browns defense if he wants the Oilers to win. He not only can be a nickel and dime quarterback, he's going to have to be a coin collector.
I like that. Jack Pardee, in his second year as the Oilers head coach at the age of 55, possibly headed for more Coach of the Year honors. And Bill Belichick, the Browns rookie head coach and former New York Giants assistant who was so successful as the defensive coordinator there. Last time these two teams played in the Dome, it was truly the house of pain for the Browns. 58-14, a huge night for Lorenzo White. The Browns will get the football first, and in his second week as the place kicker for this club, Al Del Greco kicking to little Joe Morris and Danny Peebles. And Morris lets it go, kicks out of the end zone. And now for tonight's McLean Deluxe starting lineups. The Cleveland offense built around Bernie Kosar, enjoying a rebirth. He's rated second in the conference behind Jim Kelly, has 11 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Webster Slaughter has a chance to exceed his career highs in both catches and yards, numbers that earned him a Pro Bowl trip in 1989. The offensive line was a disaster last year. Ed King, a second-round pick out of Auburn, has helped. He held Eagles' Jerome Brown to 2 tackles last week. Mack and Horde are the split backs behind Kosar. Play action. Bernie throws on first down off the fingertips of his tight end, Scott Galbraith. Up front on that Oilers defense, Ray Childress may be the best interior lineman in the game. He combines great talent with a relentless attitude. Lamar Lathan has gone from a bust as a rookie #1 pick to an impact player. He's caused 7 turnovers in his last 4 games. And Chris Dishman had a marvelous turnover streak as well, 1 in 7 games in a row. His 5 interceptions tied for second in the AFC. 2nd and 10, Cleveland. Kosar with time, and dropped again. Galbraith had it in his hands that time and couldn't hold it. Here's a tight end, 260 pounds, has only caught 10 passes all year long.
And when I talked to Bill Belichick, the one area he felt like they could go after was Lamar Lathan. Now, here he is in pass coverage. You see him make contact, but he's not really close to the receiver. Watching Galbraith during warm-ups, he had trouble catching the football as well. You see how he lets it get to his body? I mean, there's no excuse for dropping a football like that.
3rd and 10 now for Kosar. Four-man rush. Dumps it to Horde, and he dropped it. Bernie Kosar is not going to be very happy when he gets back to the sideline.
Well, one way you got to look at it, how much worse can it get? I mean, you've hit 3 guys. There isn't a more accurate passer in the National Football League than Bernie Kosar. Billy Belichick, look, even with the headset on, he's scratching his head. He's got to say, gee, what next?
Ernest Givens back for the punt of Brian Hansen. Cuts it straight up the middle and is belted as he got to the 45-yard line, a return of 8 after a punt of 43. Warren Moon will lead the run and shoot. Defense is trying to take away the deep pass on him, so he's throwing underneath. Last week, 41 of 56, 432 yards. Haywood Jeffries is Moon's favorite target, 4th in the conference in yards, number 1 in the NFL with 61 catches. The offensive line has been great, and Bruce Matthews, the all-pro guard, has started every game at center and been brilliant at it. It was a move that Jack Pardee made at the end of last year in desperation because he had problems at center, and it really worked well.
It really has. Bruce Matthews has really anchored that line. That's one of the toughest positions in the run and shoot is the offensive line.
Pinkett is the setback. And Pinkett will get the carry. 5 to midfield. Rob Burnett made the tackle. The Browns' defensive line has all-pro Michael Dean Perry, great quickness, one of the best inside pass rushers in the game. Clay Matthews, now in his 14th year, winding down a tremendous career. What he lacks in speed, he compensates for with intelligence. The secondary has been absolutely devastated by injuries. Rookie Eric Turner, making the 2nd start of his career last week, returned an interception for a touchdown. He is going to be a great, great player. 2nd and 5. Four-man rush. Moon dumps it off to Drew Hill. 1st down and more. And Drew Hill with the 500th catch of a great career.
Drew Hill with his 500 catch against a secondary that has lost 5 corners in 10 football games, has 7 different people that have been out, and they are not starting Frank Minifield at the corner. They're starting Alfred Jackson, number 41. Minifield, he's charting now. Alfred Jackson is the starting corner. He arrived on Thursday, had 1 day of practice. Doesn't even know everybody's name, and he's starting.
We will document all the injury problems in the Browns secondary. Showed you the number on Hill. Those were as an Oiler. He had 60 catches for the Rams. Moon steps up, rifles through the hands of Givens. Couldn't hold it. Warren Moon drilled that ball. Randy Hilliard, the closest man on the coverage.
If you remember the Washington Redskin game, they just don't want to commit the Houston Oilers. Give them man-to-man. Watch these safeties go back and create a pattern here. They do not want to let them expose deep in the middle of the football field. As soon as the ball snapped, there go the safeties. Back to the middle of the field. Keep a man in the hole. They're going to have to make those catches. But if they do, they better be prepared to be punished by that Cleveland defense.
Defenses have just decided that Warren Moon is not going to beat them deep, and he has to remain patient. He doesn't like it, but he understands it. Pinkett. Matthews right there, turned him back in and got some help. James Jones, number 96, the 3rd-round draft choice out of Northern Iowa, made the stop, but Matthews made the play, as he has so often over the years.
That's a good job by Clay Matthews. The thing that they want to do is they want to funnel both the quarterback and the running backs inside. They do not want to let them get to the outside of the defense. So you'll see Matthews down as a down lineman rushing. You'll see him coming as a linebacker, moving him around a lot, changing a lot of looks so that Warren Moon can't get honed in on where everybody is on defense.
Oilers in the middle of the pack in the league on 3rd and long. Moon with time. Complete, first down. Drew Hill at the 22-yard line, taken out of bounds by Vince Newsom, one of the Plan B acquisitions from the Rams.
You give Warren Moon time to throw the football, he's going to eat your lunch, particularly if you're playing zone. He half rolls to the right to pull the defense slightly, slides, buys some time. Drew Hill does what any good receiver will do, works back towards the quarterback to make the reception. They just don't throw him any prettier than that.
First down, Oilers. Pinkett. 3 or 4 straight up the middle. Burnett made the tackle again. And the Browns would like the Houston Oilers to run the football.
They're basically inviting the Oilers to do it. What they're playing with is they're playing with 4 down people. 3 of them are down linemen. 1 is a linebacker. They're playing with 2 stand-up linebackers in the middle, and they're playing with 5 people deployed in the secondary. So it's basically a 3-3-5 with a lot of different looks. And, of course, Belichick, all through the playoffs for the Giants last year, changed up for each of the opponents.
2nd and 7. Moon again with time. Givens inside the 10. Matthews brought him down along with Richard Brown. Givens already with 3 catches.
Sort of a new look for Warren Moon. Last year we're used to seeing that run and shoot where everybody's taking off down the field. Warren's completing 30, 40, 50-yard passes. This is what he has to learn to do, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like being patient, taking a 5-yard completion, a 6-yard completion, but he's learning to play more as the quarterback of this offense.
3rd and 3, goal-to-go situation. The Oilers, once again, in the middle of the NFL. And that was the first down on the last play. Moon with time again, throws very short game that time. Jeffries makes the catch. Matthews all over him.
Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator of the Houston Oilers, he has changed his philosophy. The Oilers' philosophy all through last year, really through the preseason, was to be a vertical. We want to vertically move the ball down the field. He's felt now with the changing styles of defense, it has become a horizontal game, trying to move the receivers underneath and just dump the ball off on the flats.
2nd and 8. For the end zone, off the hands of Jeffries in the corner. He had beaten Vince Newsom and just ever so slightly high.
That's one of the big knocks about the run and shoot down inside the red area, the +20 area, is you run out of end zone. See, if you're going to stretch the defense, this is a completion because he's got room to go to the corner. But now Warren has to make a throw to try and keep him in bounds. I'm not sure if he made the catch, if he'd have been able to stay in bounds.
Jeffries, who comes into the game 4th in the conference in yardage, #1 in the NFL in catches, couldn't grab that one. 3rd and goal from the 8. Moon throws short and throws it incomplete. May have just simply thrown that away because if Curtis Duncan makes the catch, he'll only pick up a couple. So a moral victory for the Browns defense, and they'll force a field goal try.
The way they forced it that time, again, it's that same thing in the red area. If you're going to go with 4 wide receivers, we're going to rush 3. We're going to drop back 8, and we're going to give you just a smaller area to put the ball in.
Al Del Greco, who last week was on his way to Birmingham, Alabama to be a salesman for a packaging company, gets a call to come back as a place kicker, hits 4 or 5, including the game winner in overtime, and his career long. He'll try this from 25 and miss it. And Jack Pardee has seen too many of those this year. We'll be back in a moment. So wondering what went wrong on the 25-yard missed field goal, but he was a hero a week ago. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but the one he missed, he was almost on his way to Birmingham after the first one he missed in regulation. I mean, it's...
But in his defense, that was 41 yards out and it hit the post. Kosar, after a couple of drops, will go to the ground game, and Kevin Mack will get maybe 2. Wrapped up by the middle of the defense. Johnny Meads was in there along with William Fuller.
I guess it's not too early for a wish list if you're a Houston Oiler fan. Dear Santa, please send. Look what they have marked. Field goal. They don't even want to get to the Super Bowl.
I think they got a real shot at it.
Well,
of course, it's going to depend going down the stretch on whether they can edge out Buffalo for the best record.
And Jack Pardee is just, his mind's just got to be going a mile a minute as to why.
Kosar 0 for 3 passing the ball, but he's had 2 drops. Changing the play. Mack on another carry. And Lathan was there, and Mack drilled him as he got to the 25.
And Willis also in on the stop.
You know, I had a chance to visit with Bernie yesterday a little bit, and he has taken a very positive approach. Really likes Bill Belichick, likes his work ethic, as you mentioned before, Michael. But the thing that he said is this offense has got to take the burden off the defense. They can't make mistakes. This is one of the situations where they have to execute a first down, keep their defense on the sideline, turn this into a game of field position, and go back and forth if they have to until they can get in position to score.
3rd and 4 here as they go to 4 wide receivers. And Kosar to the shotgun. Quickly, the pass caught by Slaughter. He has the first down out to the 34-yard line. Bubba McDowell, the strong safety, made the stop.
I am absolutely marveled at Bernie stands back there. He throws the ball from his hip and gets it by people. It's just a bunch of quick slants. That's all it is. It's a pick-em. Everybody is slanting in. Now watch the delivery. Watch what. Now there's a ball by his chest, but look at it. I mean, that thing comes out below the ear. Incredible. I mean, he's just phenomenal. The man is a phenom.
Browns first down of the ball game. Mack. He got that great forward lean when he runs with the football. And at his size, 230, and with his strength, he's always going forward.
4
The Browns
yards.
have not had much of a ground game, frankly, this year.
Well, they've not had a lot of anything except when you look,
including wins.
Yeah, but I mean, Bernie's only got 11 touchdown passes, but they haven't had a lot of interceptions. They haven't had a lot of turnovers, which are the positive, and they've just gotten enough to move the chains, keep themselves in a game. I mean, that's the philosophy that Bill Belichick has tried to ask this football team to accept.
And they could easily have a winning record. Kosar throws to Horde out of the backfield, threw it behind him. Lathan was out there on the coverage. Kosar second in the conference to Jim Kelly in passing rating, 4th in the NFL. Says he's completely healthy over the elbow injury that bothered him a couple of years ago. Lee Williams in the ball game. He was activated yesterday, has been on IR with a broken arm. Got him in the trade with San Diego, and in my mind, solidified this front four as one of the best in the game. Want to get him about 20 plays tonight. 3rd and 6, Kosar under pressure, Horde. And dives forward to the 49-yard line in the grasp of Steve Jackson.
Bernie Kosar, with his impression of a scramble, he went left, took 2 steps quick to the right. What happens is they bring corners off the edge. Actually, that was a blitz by the Oilers. Watch the left-hand part of your screen. He sees it coming, says, wait a second, I can't go there. Here comes Fuller. Let me slide to the right. Misses the opportunity, dunks the ball off, and winds up with the first down. Nice job of avoiding the rush.
Certainly mobile enough in the pocket to buy himself an extra second. He's done it his entire career. He will not remind anybody of one Fran Tarkenton, however. Mack, and Childress was waiting for him. I admire Ray Childress so much. I think he is the best interior lineman in the game. He is such a great player.
Well, you know, the thing is, Mike, I agree with you. He's so versatile. I mean, you can't say that Reggie White is not a great interior lineman as well, but Ray Childress is right up there. He can play the defensive end position. He can also play the tackle position. Jim Eddy, their defensive coordinator, when they got Lee Williams, had to do a lot of switching, had to move Childress inside, and all he says is, hey, put me anywhere. I'll play, and he does.
Well, when I say interior line, I either mean tackle or nose guy. I don't think Reggie White compares with anybody. He's in another world. Oilers still blitz. Here they come, and they'll whistle it dead. And Bernie got out of there with his life as the play clock went down to 0.
Lamar Latham decided to pull up as like a fighter coming in for the kill and pulling out at the last minute.
Talk about somebody who has turned his career around. Latham was a disaster as a first-round draft choice a year ago. What did his license plate say? Sudden impact?
Yeah, you know where it's not on his car anymore. You know where it's hanging?
He's got it in his house?
In his house with a thumbtack in it.
And the players were so critical of him. They said, hey, this guy was awful last year, and now he's a joy to play with.
They didn't even like him.
No.
I mean, it's truly is a 100% turnaround by a guy.
2nd and 14 after the delay of game against the Browns. Wants a screen. It's not there. And now he floats it for Horde. Horde bumped out of bounds. Dishman, or McDowell, caught him from behind. What a play by Kosar. Gain of 33.
Who says Bernie Kosar can't scramble, huh? What's amazing about this is you call a screen, he's going to want to go out to the left to Kevin Mack. He looks, but you see, the thing about it is his linemen never went downfield because they were hanging back for the screen. So he's able to scramble out to the right, find Horde, and make the completion. But look at him set the ball up in the air. Nice little touch. Gets it over McDowell's head. Gets it over Dishman's head.
What a great aware play by Leroy Horde to see that area of the field was open. Mack inside the 20. Browns have done a nice job on this drive, eating up the clock and moving downfield. Of course, we're here every Sunday, and we started off at noon Eastern with Game Day. Chris, Tom, and Mr. Theismann himself. Then at 7 o'clock, back with Prime Time. And updating you on everything that goes on. And then we've got a good one from the Superdome in New Orleans, the Falcons and the Saints.
Saints get upset today by the San Diego Chargers. The Falcons roll big to try and get back a little bit of confidence after the Redskins had beat up on them last week and again won this week.
Feast or famine for Atlanta. 2:55 to go. First period, 2nd and 7. Kosar with time gets it to Horde. And Horde is inside the 15-yard line to about the 14. That will be a couple of shy of a first down. Latham makes the tackle, and now we've got pushing and shoving after the play.
I think the term mismatch comes to mind when Al Smith locks up with Webster Slaughter. Huh? That's like a slight mismatch. That's like that Doug Smith.
That's literally 2 against 1.
Yeah. If he'd like take one of his 9s and go against him, it would be a lot more even.
And you don't see this very much from the Oilers anymore. You did when Jerry Glanville was here, but the personality totally different under Jack Pardee.
Well, you know, the Oilers on defense have got to stop Cleveland from getting so much yardage on 1st and 10. They're allowing them 2nd down and 5, 3rd down and 4. They're not difficult to convert. And Jack's going to have to get his ball club putting a little more pressure on Bernie.
This time they're giving him 3rd and 2. Bill Belichick likes this. It takes the pressure off his defense, as Joe said earlier. A 7-minute and 10-second drive so far. Horde and Mack in the eye. Kosar rolling to Horde. He's got the first down to the 5. Touchdown! That is the 7th touchdown catch for Horde this year in 16 grabs, and he's still down. What a tremendous effort to get in.
He made so many moves. It looks like it might be a knee. He twisted left, twisted right, wound up spinning. Play action pass. He's the fullback. Kevin Mack checks down. Now there he is. There comes the play. Johnson misses him. Smith misses him. Try to take him down, and he lands awkwardly on that knee of his as Bo Orlando tried to hit him. Little dunk. That's a 3-yard completion. There's one. Watch his right knee. Watch his right knee. See how he gets over on the edge of it? Still comes over, winds up going.
Talk about a rookie who turned it around. His teammates said that last year when Horde was a rookie out of Michigan, he was the first guy to leave practice, the last one who ever showed up for anything. They really didn't like his attitude, but he has turned it around 180 degrees this year, and ashamed to see him limp off the field after a brilliant effort like that. Jim Eddy, the defensive coordinator, wondering what happened to a defense that number 4 against the run this year and number 1 in the AFC overall, and so is Jack Pardee. Stover for the point after. He has it. And the Cleveland Browns in the Astrodome have taken a first-quarter lead, 7-0. Cleveland Browns over the Houston Oilers. 1:35 to go first quarter. One of the things that Bill Belichick said is don't turn it over, and Bernie Kosar has weaved in and out of NFL defenses all year long. They have the best turnover situation on offense in the entire league. Only 8 turnovers, and there's the Houston Oilers defensive roadblock because they have 28 takeaways.
Complete with siren, too.
Yes.
Now what Bernie's doing is he's checking his play chart because he has a lot of input. Gary Tranquill, their quarterback coach, Bill Belichick, the head coach, and Bernie Kosar get together and formulate the game plan so they get an idea what he wants. He is looking at that chart to figure out what the defenses have tried to do to him on certain down and distances, so when he goes back in, he knows what to expect.
Pinkett and Coleman deep for the kick from Stover. Pinkett from the 5. Grip from behind as he got across the 25-yard line. The tackle made by Brian Brennan, and we'll be back in a moment. And it should be a good one. The Falcons with an exciting style of play against that great Saints defense. And it's 7-0 here. Cleveland over Houston. Only 1:25 to go first period of play. Oilers first and 10 at their own 27-yard line. Moon under pressure, throws the screen to Pinkett. Blockers in front. Flip the tackle by Newsom out across the 35 near the first down to 37. The numbers on Pinkett as a receiver this year. He and Lorenzo White will alternate at that spot. And the Browns with a great drive took nearly 8 minutes off the clock, went 80 yards against a good defense, and Horde finished it off with a 14-yard catch.
And that came on the back of Oilers' first drive, which was over 5 minutes.
And Horde is expected back in the ballgame, up and walking on the sideline. They were attending to him after the catch. It's 2nd and 1 here. They'll run for it with Pinkett. He's got it and more. Across the 41-yard line. Stephen Bragg's brought him down.
Mike, with the Oilers, they throw the little screen, pick up 9 yards. They run off tackle, they pick up 4 yards. It doesn't seem like it, but the Oilers are playing this game exactly the way the Browns want them to play it. The defense is enticing them to run and dump the ball off. They're going to make them keep doing it.
And yet there is no point at trying to throw the ball 50 yards downfield when there are 5 defensive backs 50 yards downfield.
That's right. And that man right there is not real excited about the fact that he has to be patient.
Coming up to the end of the first
That will be the end of the first period here at the Astrodome, and the Oilers fans have not had much to cheer about. Their beloved team down 7-0 to the Browns. His club down 7-0. Last week, we're talking about his patience was 41 of 56 for 432 yards, but he did not have a touchdown in that game, and only 4 times in NFL history have quarterbacks thrown for over 400 yards and not gotten a touchdown out of it. And I'm sure for a quarterback it is frustrating when they're not giving you the long ball because you like to throw it long.
Oh, by nature, but all 4 of them are still active.
Most guys who've thrown for 400 are and will stay that way. Excellent protection by the front wall. Givens again out of bounds in Cleveland territory at the 47. And because they throw the ball so much, this line of the Houston Oilers does not get a great deal of credit, but there are some tremendous players.
Oh, they really, you know, most of them have been to the Pro Bowl. I mean, Dawson, of course, coming back and filling in. Matthews has been to the Pro Bowl, has gone as a tackle and a guard, probably could go as the center this year. Of course, Munchak, who was hurt, continues to try and do a little bit better, and Dave Williams doing an excellent job. They've only allowed 11 sacks, which is the second fewest to the Redskins in the league.
Munchak is a fixture at the Pro Bowl. Browns still blitz and come. The Oilers pick it up, and Moon airs this one out. Tony Jones. Could be a flag. No. There was contact as Randy Hilliard was there. The ball underthrown. Jones had to wait for it, and Hilliard ran into it.
You could almost see Warren Moon's mind when he saw those linebackers come up to try and blitz. He said, great, watch, look, see how many guys they have here? They're starting to edge. Now, he knows he's got one-on-one out here, and he says, okay, you want to come at me? I'm going to put it up deep. That's what our offense is all about, and he just doesn't air it out. Now, the good thing on that particular play was that Randy Hilliard does turn around to try and make a play of the ball. Watch. See him turn? Just by turning. Just by turning, they won't throw the flag.
That was a heck of a play by the second-year man out of Northwestern State. Moon again with all day to throw. Rifle to Givens. Newsom hit him, and then Hilliard took him down at the 20. What a throw by Warren Moon. 27 yards. And Givens took a shot after he made the catch.
Well, he gets in a rhythm. When Warren gets in a rhythm, it's 1, 2, 3, step left, turn around and fire. Givens reading the defense, gets around the initial bump. Now he just sits in the soft area, looks and sees the hit coming. Vince Newsom tries to take him apart, and Randy Hilliard wants to take what's left and tear it off.
One of the interesting things about Warren Moon, as he said last week, was the first time his shoulder felt loose all year. He went to a therapist who gave him an acupressure massage on the shoulder. Maybe it's psychological, maybe it isn't, whatever. 41 out of 56, you have him do the same thing every week.
It is not psychological. He went for neuromuscular therapy after the Cincinnati game because he just couldn't get his arm loose. I had that happen to me in 1978. I had to get it done on my arm to try and loose. Because you take so many awkward hits as a quarterback, it messes up your skeleton. Oh, gonna take a look
now
at
the
it.
last play may be being reviewed.
I guess it was, and they decided to heck with it. We don't need to.
On 1st and 10, Jeffrey to the 11-yard line. Brought down by Stephen Bragg.
Obviously, Haywood felt that the fans were not involved in this game enough in the first quarter, so he's going to do his part to get everybody else excited. Now, this is where it gets interesting for the Oilers, inside the 10-yard line. What are the Browns going to try and do to him here? Are they going to let him try and run it in, or are they going to continue to play that soft zone against him?
They have run it far more than they did a year ago in this same circumstance. Had a seam, got down to about the 7-yard line. Should be good enough for the first down. Richard Brown made the tackle. He is in there for Mike Johnson, the Pro Bowl middle linebacker who's injured.
This could have been a fumble, but I think the whistle's going to blow to call it dead, because what the Browns want to do is, if somebody's carrying the ball, they want to try and strip it away. You see Pickett take the hand off. Now look at the hands come in and try and strip the ball away. See it? Is he down? Is the ball out? Hard to tell. That ball's on the ground. You just don't know whether it came out. But the whistle had already blown, so it doesn't matter.
First and goal from the 7. Second time the Oilers have been in this spot. Pinkett again. To the 5 and no more. Rob Burnett out of Syracuse closed down to make the stop.
3 yards on the carry for Pinkett.
And here is the situation with the rushing touchdowns. 12 as opposed to only 3 a year ago. And that's because the defense says we're not going to let you throw for it. We're going to spread it out the zone. Go ahead and run it.
But if you want to add those 2 numbers up for each of the years, they're both 27.
And does it really matter how you score as long as you do? Second and goal from the 5. Pinkett. Touchdown. And that is a tough, tough run from a guy who only goes 196 pounds.
Yeah, but that little guy benches 375 and has benched 435. Look at the job by the left side of the line. And they get him stopped at the 1, but he gets the ball out to cross the plane for the touchdown. Excellent job by Nags and Dawson on that left side. Bruce Matthews. Well, you know, when Mike Munchak, his right offensive guard, is a yard into the end zone ahead of him, you know that they're blocking downfield for him.
Munchak playing with a very bad knee. Just a great block. Finished it off at the goal line. Del Greco for the point after. He has it. And the Oilers have come from behind to tie up the Cleveland Browns. It's 7-7. In Houston, and we have talked about it since the beginning of this telecast, is the Oilers were being limited by what the defenses were giving them. They are taking it, and they did on that drive.
They really did, and it isn't so much the fact that they're doing it by design and saying, geez, this is the way we have to approach it. They're doing it out of necessity. They're not going to let them get into the end zone any other way.
Del Greco to kick. Morris, the former Giant, number 20, and Danny Peebles are deep to receive. Morris, a yard deep. And Little Joe upended as he got to the 15-yard line. Mike Dumas, the rookie out of Indiana, upended him there. We'll be back in a moment. 29 seconds left to go. First half of play from the Astrodome. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, and our ESPN crew with you. Cleveland takes over to 15. Mack wrapped up by Big Doug Smith, who has 11 brothers and sisters at this game. Says this is a big game for him.
It was a big paycheck trying to get all the tickets.
Sellout crowd of 61,709 at the Astrodome, and the Budweiser storyline tells us that Pinkett is tied it on a 5-yard run. Warren Moon with almost 100 yards already. Kosar 5 out of 9, and Leroy Horde got the touchdown for the Cleveland Browns on the catch and a great run. 2nd and 8, Cleveland. Kosar with time to throw and throws it in front of Kevin Mack. Now, Bernie was backing out of there a little bit, but what a contrast to last year when he was always being pressured.
Well, last year, he was constantly having to throw off his back foot. If you throw off your back foot, you're ultimately going to throw either a lot of balls in the ground or over the receiver's head. Both of them lead to problems. What Jim Eddy, the defensive coordinator of the Oilers, told us yesterday was that the key for them is to make Bernie throw off his back foot. He's only going to rush 4 if he can put pressure on him, fine. If he can, he'll increase the number till he finds a way to make him throw off his back foot.
Leroy Horde, who they love as a 3rd down receiver, back in the game. Mack is out. Bernie looking for Horde and can't hit him. And then Horde is dumped by Bubba McDowell. Fuller and Jones were putting on the pressure.
A lot of times with the quarterback, what you want to do is you don't have to sack him. All you have to do is make them feel pressure. Watch the front four collapse this pocket. See how there's no place for Bernie to step up. He has nowhere really to go because Lee Williams is in front of him and the ends are around him.
Ernest Givens back to take the punt from Brian Hansen. They've told Givens, don't worry about running him back. Just catch the ball. We don't want any more fumble. Nice kick by Hansen. Givens back at the 36. Trying to get to the sideline. And he'll lose half a dozen. Ball came loose. And they'll give it to the Cleveland Browns. Jack Pardee said on Saturday, all we want is not to turn it over on punt return.
That's why Ernest was back there. That's the decision. And Ernest Givens does not want to be a punt returner. He doesn't like it. He doesn't care for it. And
he won't be for long.
Yeah, if he keeps doing that, he's not. But here he is trying to make a play. Great pursuit by the Brown special teams. He's just looking for a place to make a play. And there's the ball that comes out. The thing about, you can't fault a guy for trying to make a play. But sooner or later, you have to make a decision that there's nowhere to go, protect the ball.
Great hustle by Latin Berry, who made the hit. Missed him once, came back and got him again. And then Scott Galbraith downfield hustling and got the recovery. Haywood Jeffries talking to Givens with Pinkett behind him. So the Browns, with a great break, have the ball at the 30-yard line. And Joe Morris is in as the deep setback. Slaughter. Boy, the Oilers defense that beautifully. Richard Johnson came up in a hurry and got help, too.
They baited Bernie. That's what they did. They baited him. That was a great job by the defense of saying, Bernie, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to back our corners off 8 yards. We're going to let you audible to a hitch, and then we're going to close on them real quick. That was an excellent defensive piece of strategy. That's what happened. That's making the offense do what you want them to do.
After a turnover, the Browns have been very opportunistic this year, ranking 5th in the entire league in points scored after turnovers. Ford is back in there with Mack. Kosar quickly to Horde. Nice catch. That ball was low and behind him, and it was middle linebacker Al Smith on the coverage to make the tackle.
Al Smith doesn't get enough credit. Lamar Lathan has made such a great turnaround of his play this year, and he's making all the big plays. But the guy who's been in the middle, he leads the team with 80 tackles. And as far as an inside linebacker goes, he's having a good enough year to be considered for the Pro Bowl. Good job by the line protecting him. Ball's thrown behind Horde. Smith just wraps him up and doesn't let him go.
Horde has 5 catches, 64 yards. 3rd and 10 for the Browns. Kosar dumps it to Mack, trying to beat Lathan to the sticks, and it will be very, very close, just outside the 20-yard line.
But I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to matter. Bill Belichick has got to have this football team. The only way this football team's going to win is to take chances. They can't do it on defense because they don't have the personnel. So he figures, why not take some chances on offense? I wouldn't be surprised if it's 4th and 1 that he's going to go for it and not try the field goal. There's a little check down screen. Mack does a good job, and it's a good spot by the official. The ball did go out of bounds, and the Browns are going to go for it.
On 4th and 1 or 4th and a foot, they will go. Lee Roussan, number 44, checks in with Mack. Kevin Mack has the first down. Eric Fairs, number 51, the first to hit him, but that body lean got it for him.
I am a firm believer that 4th down and short, 3rd down and short is an attitude. you can't draw plays because there's too many people in there. You can give them an idea, but it's an attitude. The offense says, we're going to make the blocks. Look at the fire out and the initial charge of the offensive line. You see that hole that was created? They gave them a lane to run to. Look at, see how the line, if the offensive line gets under the defensive line, which they did, you get a big collision, but his momentum allowed him to get the first down.
Jones, Reenstra, and Babb on the left side of that line did a great job. And movement early, they'll whistle this one dead. Looked like Bernie got out half a count early.
Every flag. I think somebody from the stands threw a yellow flag. Every flag is on the field.
And Joe Morris must be wondering what it takes to get a carry. When he was in there before, they checked off and threw a little hitch pass. This time they blew the play dead when he got the ball.
See Bernie's right knee, see how it moves? Now see how the backs, look at 1, 2, 3. Okay, Bernie, your knee moves, my arm moves, my body moves. Oh, they're like throwing a string back there. Bernie's knee has got a little string to it, and everybody moves and he moves.
Ball starts. Prior to the snap, the offensive line, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
No, Dale, come on. It was everybody on the offense.
Starting with Bernie.
That's right.
7:42 to go in the half. Browns will now face a 1st and 15 from the Oiler 25. Mack, a single setback. 3 wide receivers in the game. Play action. Kosar hits this tight end. Childress hung on to this one. It dropped too earlier in the game. And he's finally chased down by Al Smith inside the 5.
54 and Lathan 57 on the stop for Houston.
Only the 11th catch of the year for Galbraith.
Little bit of play. When you're successfully running the football, the defense has to react. Number 26, the right part of your screen, Bo Orlando. See what he does? The back move to the right. He took a few steps back. That allows Brennan to be wide, or excuse me, Galbraith to be wide open. Nice job by Webster Slaughter to come out and be a lead blocker.
1st and goal. Morris. Touchdown.
5 yards. Number 21.
3 times in his career, little Joe Morris was a 1,000-yard rusher for the New York Giants. That was his 2nd touchdown for the Browns, and he was given the opportunity to play after being out of football by Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick knew what he had in New York with him, does an excellent job. He sets up the block. Now he just turns on and says, I've still got a little Jets left. Bo Orlando trying to get over and make the hit, but it was too late.
Stover on for the point after. And the Cleveland Browns, on the strength of the turnover, capitalize and score to take a 14-7 lead. With a 14-7 lead over Houston, 6:37 to go in the first half. Let's take a look from a different angle at that touchdown.
This is a 45-degree angle. Watch this. Watch the end hook, Lamar Lathan. Then Mack comes out and hooks here. Slaughter makes a block. Morris just takes it and runs right up. They create a lane for Joe Morris. Good job at the point of attack. And look at him. Look at him turn up. Bubba McDowell, number 25, is so anxious to hit, he slides inside. They do a good job of sealing the corner. Excellent job by the wide receivers of the Cleveland Browns. We saw Webster Slaughter make a good downfield block for Galbraith on his reception. Now an excellent block on Joe Morris's touchdown.
And Stover tees it up. The Cleveland Browns coming in at 4-6 after a crushing disappointment a week ago. Coleman and Pinkett deep to receive. Had a 23-0 lead on the Eagles and blew their biggest lead to lose in the history of the franchise. And this one curling out of bounds, and they'll be able to get the ball to the 35.
You know, maybe it's me. Maybe I don't understand this, but a lot more coaches have tried to kick to the corners, and it's not been that effective.
No, it certainly hasn't. When you give the other team the ball at the 35-yard line, it doesn't work. There's a timeout with 6:33 to go first half. Browns by a touchdown. player, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, that is football. Somebody asks you what that man does, all you could say is that's a football player, and that's a defensive football player.
The Oilers take over at the 35 after the out-of-bounds kick. Lorenzo White in at running back. Moon with time, pretty pass to Duncan. Duncan has it at the 49, and the Oilers have been one of the best teams in the league, scoring points in the second quarter. 93 points, that's second only to Washington in the second period. And they're the third leading team overall.
Look at that, 100 points. And you know what the problem is?
That's with tonight.
That's including tonight. But a lot of the problem is they don't have an opportunity to study defenses like other teams do because nobody plays a lot of run and shoot. So they take the first quarter as their film study and then try and exploit it in the second quarter.
Under 6 minutes to play first half. Four-man rush. Again, Moon with time over the middle and over the head of Ernest Givens. He was covered by Turner.
And that one was tipped at the line of scrimmage. That's what they want to do. Keep Warren in the pocket, get enough pressure up the middle if you can, get your hands up, and make the ball go high.
And it looked like middle linebacker Richard Brown was the guy who got a fingertip on it to throw it off trajectory. College game day coming up Saturday afternoon. We'll start it at 11:30 a.m. and a doubleheader. 4 o'clock, West Virginia against Syracuse, and then Miami against Boston College. And we have Miami rated #1, and why not? They beat Florida State. They earned it.
Miami, with the remaining schedule and the bowl matchup they're going to have, probably, and they will be the #1 college team again this year.
Lorenzo White with his first carry. Trapped in the backfield, Michael Dean Perry finished him off after Pio Sangapulatelli had a shot at him. Are you going to pronounce that young man's name sometime tonight?
Pio? No problem.
Yeah,
I can handle it.
Yeah, you're right.
Watch this. Watch him step right up and play. Here's the fullback. I'm responsible for you. I'm going to come up and make a collision. Richard Brown steps up in. There he is. Michael Dean forces him back inside. Richard Brown doesn't stop. Michael Dean's constantly pursuing and makes the play.
No gain, 3rd and 10. From behind, Clay Matthews with the sack of Warren Moon. 2.5 sacks on the year for Matthews, who said they are playing more disciplined this year and playing much sounder defense.
The amazing thing about that is you have 5 offensive linemen. The Browns rush only 3. Watch the top right-hand part of your screen. He just comes right around Don Maggs. He gets around the corner, circles the pass, and wraps up Warren Moon. Warren does a good job of protecting the ball, not to have it stripped away for a turnover.
Greg Montgomery on to punt, and Brian Brennan waits at the 10. Montgomery, who led the league a year ago but didn't have enough punts to qualify, has not kicked as well this season, but gets the roll down to the 7-yard line on that one. A punt of 43. 4:18 to go in the half. Still, Browns defense, which has held the high-powered Houston Oilers to 7 points. And it is a miracle that this defense doesn't give up 35 points a game. They have been so devastated by injuries to defensive backs. Gash, Harper, and Claiborne went out at the start of the year. Gash and Harper before it even started. Then they lost Turner, Blaylock, Hilliard, and Minifield for several other games. They are signing people in the middle of the week who are converted running backs and starting them on Sunday.
Alfred Jackson, who started at the right cornerback position for him, had not played before tonight since August 3rd.
Browns all the way back at their 7. Morris, maybe a yard. Childress had him wrapped up. Some question whether Childress would be able to play much this year. Had a broken arm in preseason, but came back from that.
Ed King, the rookie, right guard for the Cleveland Browns. Watch him drive through. Look at Childress. He just takes that inside gap, and King doesn't stand a chance. He's getting himself one heck of an education. Now, here's a guy who really should only be a junior in college. I mean, he wasn't redshirted. He came out, and he's still a little bit immature. Great athlete, will be an excellent football player, but he's still very young.
He said the mental part is tougher than the physical part in the NFL. 2nd and 9. Ford is in there. Morris will get the call. Nearly broke it outside. Guess who? Childress made the tackle. Stopped what could have been a big gain.
Okay, if you can't block Ray Childress with one guy, let's see if we can block him with two. Now now not only does King block him, but Mike Babb tries to help out, and they still can't get the job done.
The answer is no. Out of Texas A&M, 6'6", 272.
Houston's got to force Cleveland to punt here to get the ball back. If not, Cleveland will probably run it out before the half.
Down to 250. Kosar to Horde. Dishman hit him but couldn't hold it. And look at Leroy Horde. Barrels his way up to the 29. Richard Johnson hanging on for dear life. And Horde is a load at 5'11", 230.
Bernie's tried to go to the wide receivers once on a hitch. Everything else has been to the tight ends and backs. Excellent job of protection. Gets it out to Horde. Now, he doesn't have the first down yet. Matter of fact, he still doesn't have it. He's barely past the first down. Latham missed. Dishman misses. Johnson misses. Look at those legs. Look at the leg power. And he's still holding onto the ball and still comes out in front of the defensive guys.
Six catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown for Leroy Horde. And Dishman a little slow to get up. He wants to get the number of the truck that ran him over. It was 33.
I tell you, he's going to go to bed tonight. He's going to close his eyes, and he's going to see this thing 33 on a license plate coming at him. And it's going to be that man right there. Yeah, you know, that's good. What Leroy's doing is, he's getting close to the head coach. Took him out of the game for a breather. Coach doesn't have to go looking for him. I'm here, Coach. I'm fine. You can send me back in. Puts his helmet back on.
Of course, if you fumble the ball, you get as far away from him as you
see, it worked. Look at that. It worked. I mean, the psychology in this game is incredible, even on the sidelines.
There are the numbers on Horde, and he has been the big play guy for Bernie Kosar. College basketball preseason NIT, 23rd ranked Georgia Tech facing James Madison and West Virginia against 4th ranked Kentucky. And of course you'll see the semifinals and the championship game of the preseason NIT later on in the month on ESPN. And that's been a good event. We've gotten some good ball clubs, some exposure. Find out who's got it early. Found out UCLA has it early. And the Browns obviously going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning. But they have a 1st and 10 at their own 29 and happy with a 14-7 lead. We'll be back to the Astrodome. The Browns and the Oilers. Down in Son's jacket is Art Modell, the Browns owner, who has been criticized for some coaching decisions in the past, but not for his selection of Bill Belichick.
What an excellent young man. Has total authority. That's the thing
that's the key, isn't it?
That really is he knows what he needs for his football team. His football team knows that he's the man in charge, and they say, okay, Bill, whatever you say, we believe you. And I think it's a great decision by Art, and he made the right choice in Bill.
Remember, it was the worst season in the history of the franchise a year ago. This club was a disaster.
They really shouldn't have won even 3.
No, and Belichick has turned it around. Ford is in on 1st and 10. He's on a wing. And Mack on the delay. And Al Smith waiting for him as he got to the 32-yard line. William Fuller also in on the play.
Interesting strategy here, Mike. What do you do if you're the Houston Oilers? Do you call timeouts? Do you waste your timeouts? Or do you play into the hands of the Cleveland Browns? Let the clock run down, go in, regroup at the end of the second half.
I think after this play is where you make your decision on that.
Okay, Coach Patrick.
Kosar airs it out. Good coverage by Dishman. But it's caught. Webster Slaughter, what a play. Dishman in perfect position, and Slaughter took it away. A gain of 48.
Well, if you can read lips, you know how Jack feels about that one. Of course, Bill Belichick says, you know, hey, good throw, Bernie. All this is an up. Now, Slaughter is nowhere near Dishman when this ball goes up, and Bernie Kosar does not have a strong arm. He just outleaps him. He gets up for it, makes a play, and makes a catch. That's just one man beating another man. If you play on the corner, sometimes they're going to get you, and this time he did. Great individual effort by Webster Slaughter. He's made some excellent blocks downfield to help the running game. Now he goes up and makes a play.
3 catches, 56 yards for Slaughter. He is tied with Ray Renfro on the Cleveland Browns' #1 all-time list with 14 career 100-yard games. And if he breaks that record, he has beaten a great ball player in Renfro. Slaughter in his 6th year out of San Diego State. And boy, Dishman must feel bad because he had tremendous position on that play.
I mean, he had to feel like he had another interception. This man is used to making big plays. He sees them. He's studied real hard. That's been the biggest change in his development this year, is he's a film studier. But you can study enough film, it's not going to make up for a play like that when a guy does it.
Now the Browns in great shape at the Oilers 20. Kosar dumps it off to Mack. Mack hit by Al Smith, got down to the 15-yard line, and hustling downfield, John Reemster with a late block, no flag. The Browns willing to let time tick off that clock. We're already down to the middle.
We're seeing where both offensive lines are really trying to help their backs downfield. On the touchdown, we saw Mike Munchak in the end zone ahead of Alan Pinkett. On this particular run, we see Reemster down there trying to block for Mack.
2nd and 5. Kosar looks for Horde, has him again. And what a move by Horde to get the first down. Little stop and go. Lamar Lathan had to make the tackle, but he juked Darrell Lewis, the rookie out of Arizona, to get that first down. Timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Browns in Cleveland has put on another impressive drive here, Joe.
I think they're making plays, Mike. Watch this. Watch the receivers drive off the deep back. What they'll do is they drive him off. Now he just swings the ball out in the flat, take the open receiver, let him make a play, get the ball to the running back at 3 yards, let him pick up the other 3. A lot of confidence in one another.
34 seconds to go in the half. 1st and goal, Brown. Kosar to the end zone. Langhorn. Incomplete. They said he's out of bounds. Bo Orlando, the free safety on the coverage.
Oh, boy, they had the corner route all set up. Perfect pass. I mean, this is an aggressive offense. There's the reverse angle. He goes up, makes the grab, got the left foot down, the right foot. Yes, good call by the official. The right foot splits the line. Reggie's got to tap a little bit. I mean, you got to drag that foot going out of the end zone.
That was a good call on a day where we have not had a lot of good calls.
Jerry Seaman's going to be real busy this week with a lot of officiating problems that coaches are going to observe.
2nd and goal, Mack. And Childress submarined him. What a great play. Holy cow, what a tackle.
When the Brown offense has been on the field, Mike, it's been Leroy Hurd making plays. When the Oiler defense has been out there, it's been Ray Childress doing everything he can to stop him.
Got a timeout with 21 seconds left. Coming up at half.
Where the Browns have had to be able to make a play that they didn't want to.
Browns do not have another timeout. Third and goal. So you need to throw the ball in the end zone or get out of bounds. Kosar telling the official he can't hear. Chased out of the pocket. Kosar throws on the run. It's intercepted. Chris Dishman with his 6th interception of the season.
Oh, you just won't see Bernie Kosar do that great. Billy Belichick absolutely upset. Bernie Kosar's too good a quarterback to do that. He wanted to run. He knew he couldn't. He should have just gone out of bounds. He appealed to the official 3 times. 3 times to ask him, and he said, hey, look, it's too loud. I can't get the play off. There he goes back. Now he thinks he wants to run. Now he knows he doesn't. He sees Langhorne in the end zone. Then he sees Michael Jackson. Now he throws it, and it's thrown right at Dishman. I mean, there wasn't a Brown in sight.
The other part about this decision that was bad, if you throw it short of the goal line, you may not have another play.
Well, you run out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, the only thing he could do. Bernie is not going to be the kind of guy who's going to scramble around and make a play back across his body. His throwing style doesn't allow it. But you got to believe Chris Dishman is a blessed individual because he just keeps being in the right spot. There wasn't anybody in the area but him.
And with that mistake, the Browns give up what would have been a sure field goal, and they could have gone up 17-7. And one of the Browns is down on the sideline.
The worst thing that can happen, Mike,
from the first half, Leroy Horde with a tremendous effort to get it into the end zone on a 14-yard catch. Then Pinkett tied it up 7-7 in the second quarter. Browns regained the lead on Joe Morris's 5-yard romp. And that's where we stand. The Browns had a chance to go up 17-7, but just threw the interception and give up a chip shot field goal. And Chris Dishman tied for the AFC lead with his 6th pick of the year. And only the second, that's unbelievable, the second interception of the year for Bernie Kosar.
And that one, you'd have to say that one was uncharacteristic. I mean, he was very much in position to control what he wanted to do with the football. Just tried to make too much of a play. It happens sometimes, but, you know, he's got to think. He's just got to think what his situation is.
Only 10 seconds left in the half, and the Oilers, seeing 85 yards in real estate in front of them, decide they will kneel down and let the clock run out. And that's going to end the first half from the Astrodome. The Browns have played beautifully on both sides of the ball and lead the Oilers 14-7. Let's check in with Chris Berman.
All right, Mike and Joe, thank you. So the Browns trying to spin an upset at the Dome. Can anybody upset the Washington Redskins? A perfect season? I'll tell you what, the rumblings are getting a lot louder these days. The Redskins took their 10-0 mark into Pittsburgh against the Steelers. They scored 56 points this week. Last week, this week they had an off week. They got only 41. You remember Gary Clark from last week? Mark Rippon does, 49-yard touchdown. Art Monk caught 8. Beautiful catch. 97 points in 2 weeks for the Skins. They're in the playoffs 11-0, 41-14 over the Steelers. The Saints went into Dan Henning's Chargers, Jack Murphy Stadium at 9-1. But when John Deep Freeze hit Chris Samuels down to the 1, and John Cotty said, good night, everybody, a field goal. The Chargers upset the Saints 24-21. Bears went into Indianapolis at 8-2. Jeff George, Jesse Hester, Colts thinking upset early, they're up. Second half, all Bears. Harbaugh to the speedster from Tennessee, Anthony Morgan. Second touchdown in 2 weeks. The Bears 9-2. They outlast the Colts at Indy 31-17. Cowboys at the Giants. Mickey Pruitt lands on Mark Ingram's leg. He has to leave for a play. Cowboys probably figured that he couldn't run much. Jeff Hostetler wasn't thinking the same thing. Nice toss. Mark Ingram, the touchdown. The Giants beat the Cowboys 22-9. Cincy at Philly, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, saying sack, sack, sack. He himself had 3. The Eagles in total had 6 against the Bengals. On offense, Jim McMahon. When he's in, the Eagles are fine. Touchdown to Calvin Williams, 17-10 Philly. John Elway looks at the plays with Dan Reeves. Big game at the Broncos at the Chiefs. They like this play. Gaston Green. Let him go. He had 133 yards on the day, 60 yards on this key touchdown. Steve DeBerg, the former Bronco, picked off 4 times by Denver. This one by Charlie Demre. It's a touchdown, and the Broncos are in first. They win 24-20. Seahawks at the Raiders. Hardest hit of the day, John L. Williams on his own man, Tommy Kane. That's how it went for Seattle. For the Raiders, a different story. Jay Schrader to Ethan Horton. He heard a lot more than a who. He heard a 51-yard touchdown. And the Raiders, 18-3 in the Mausoleum under Art Shell. They beat the Seahawks 31-7. Minnesota at Green Bay, Rich Gannon to Chris Carter. At the goal line, it's a fumble. But he falls on it for a touchdown. Gannon says, no more chicanery. I'll keep it myself. And the Vikings win at Lambeau 35-21. Detroit stumbling, but they've come home where they're undefeated. Against the Rams down in the fourth quarter, Eric Kramer to Robert Clark. 14-10 Detroit. Is Mike Barr open or what? Touchdown, the Lions win it 21-10. They're 7-4. Joe Montana giving instructions to Steve I got you, Babe Bono, led the Niners to a 14-3 lead over the Cards. Stan Gelbaugh with the rally. Ernie Jones makes the catch. It's 14-10. Bugles Club is in it. Late fourth on fourth down. The toss to Ricky Prohl. Shampoo can't come up with it. The Niners win by a hair, 14-10. Bucks at the Falcons. Falcons lost by 39 last week. Guess what? They played the Redskins last week. They played the Bucks this week. Chris Miller to Andre Rison. Couple of times. A 75-point turnaround. And the Falcons roll the Buccaneers 43-7. Flag that coach Dick McPherson for a late hit. Why not? His team made a late hit. Down 21-0. They tied the Jets at 21-0 until O'Brien to the ex-Patriot lineman Trevor Maddich, 28-21. Last play of the game, but Jeff Lagerman slices through to stop John Vaughn, and the Jets win by a foot. 7 points. They beat the Patriots 28-21. Big-time controversy at the end of the Chiefs game at home against the Denver